What up, guys? We are going to be talking about Monero, swaps, aggregators. Yes, Moro. And we're going to kind of discover like exchanges, why it's important to think about your exchange, and where you can purchase Monero. A lot of people get confused on how to do this for some reason, and that's completely fine. I think because crypto is still relatively a foreign concept to humans, which is also fine. But if you live in maybe like a place that's very like concentrated on XYZ, like say your purchase history, etc., etc. I would say that that's probably not the best idea to say purchase a VPN or like an email address or something with fiat. I mean, like with your credit card or your debit card, if you want to remain anonymous. I want to show this, I guess, like more or less a store of value of what Monero can do and how easy it is to buy. If you don't run your own node, there are some good wallets out there that essentially can make it easy for you to remain somewhat private. The one that I use the most and advocate the most for, because I think it's the best, is probably Feather Wallet. I think there's enough guides out there to show people how it works. It's not that hard to really set up. It's what the hell is KYC? KYC is know your customer. We're gonna go over that too. KYC is kind of important. Context. There are some countries that have extreme KYC, and there's countries that don't have extreme KYC. They have laxed ones. So it is something to think about. A KYC, or know your customer, is a regulatory and compliance process used by financial institutions and other businesses to verify identity. AKA, if you say purchase firearm, everyone thinks in the U.S. you can just walk into a place, get a gun, and walk out. It's not that simple. You still have to show a form of ID, just like alcohol or like tobacco or anything else that is controlled or owned by the ATF or like any other government entity. Some countries require you, just to even get a prepaid SIM card, you have to show your valid government ID. I think that's ludicrous and insane. Sometimes I do remember that I am speaking from an American standpoint on certain things where we do have the privilege. I can walk in to any prepaid carrier or online carrier source, get a prepaid SIM. I don't have to fork over any identifiable information. And you don't know how long they're going to hold these records, and there's some problems with that in the long term, especially if you're going especially if you want to use the number or the email or this product for the long term. It's probably not good. to have a company have a long-term record of you. Now we're gonna. I gotta wait for not Cake Wallet, for what do you call it? Feather Wallet to sync properly, which I think it has. Once it does, we're gonna look at it. Damn, just got a fucking. Just got a fucking copyright strike on the Linus Tech Tips video on. Did you already buy the Monero? Yeah, I'm gonna. Well, yeah, I'm gonna show how to swap it still. Motherfucker just got an email from GayTube because I'm reacting to the Linus Gay tips on Graphene OS and then more C. Damn. I'm going broke, guys. I gotta be careful now. I don't want YouTube to financially hurt me. Which is pretty funny. One second. I just gotta wait. Not for it to just completely sync over, but oh man, and the Linus Tech Tips with Linus just dropped. We're gonna be buying the Monero. We're gonna buy a small amount with Lightning though. The problem is with Lightning is it's not as private unless you run your own node, and it's not a straightforward process with Lightning as Monero compared to Monero. So it is something to think about. I gotta change my profile picture again. So we're gonna look at some exchanges. Preferably if you run Tails OS, this would be the optimal way to do it. So these are exchanges I have used. Um, Orange Friend, Orange Friend is a exchange, kind of like finds pretty much exchanges like there's like a trust level, and the highest trust level is, you have to understand, the highest trust level is services that don't use pretty much any exchange, like RetroSwap, no KYC. The trust is, I don't know why it's lower. Everything checks out at first glance, but not verified, not through tested. The team, read more about the listing says. So you gotta kind of take it at base value. The private non-custodial peer-to-peer exchange is kind of like the schizophrenic ultimate CubesOS version of swapping Monero. You had BISC. BISC has been around for a long time. Base, no JavaScript needed. It's decentralized. You pretty much exchange with people. You can do cash. You can do other cryptocurrencies. RoboSats, I've used. Not necessarily a fan of it. Not necessarily a hater. There's Elegant Wallet as well. I haven't used them. So like when you're picking an exchange, you want to make sure that they have a long-standing user base. They've been around for a long time. Or at least they have consistent, good, positive outcomes. You want to be careful because you can get scammed just like you can anywhere else. Just a question: if I buy BTC or what are the swap Monero, there is no way to track where the Monero goes as long. So this is a good question, and a question that people either assume the answer to, but don't understand Monero at its final point. So you kind of answered your own question within your question. Yes. So because of Monero's privacy, how Monero acts and how it works in the privacy perspective, you essentially, yes, can exchange you could even probably do it in a KYC wallet, like where they know who you are. All they did is see you swap it for Monero. I mean, big whoop. That doesn't mean anything. They don't know the amount. They don't know the address. They don't know the wallet. They don't know anything about it. So overall, Monero's privacy is so good that it would be very hard to trace these transactions back to that you swapped it to Bitcoin. The thing is, you don't trace forward, you trace backwards. That's like generally how you find stuff. So there would have to be an observer watching you do the swap and then coming to the conclusion through like other sophisticated attacks that quite literally aren't Monero issues. It's OPSEC issues and prospectively specific. So here's like a good example. There was that guy that was like selling those government secrets. The United States government sent him a specific amount of Bitcoin, a specific denomination that was recorded, and that's what screwed him. If he would have swapped, if you would have taken this money and slowly fucking sprinkled it through Monero and just kept swapping through different wallets in Monero, the odds of him getting caught would be like next to none. Zero, actually. Probably zero. Now, you could buy Bitcoin or Lightning or Litecoin, Mimblewimble or Zcash or really any cryptocurrency. Swap it for Monero. Take that Monero and go, especially if you're running your own node, and then run it through maybe like one or two extra wallets if you're that concerned. Obviously, you could just use like one-time use wallets, one-time addresses, sub addresses. You could send it to one-time sub addresses and then take it and switch it to like maybe like your main wallet that you use the Monero with the most. Fedward cryptocurrency. Sure. Yeah. Zcash is definitely Fedward Snowden's favorite cryptocurrency. So, there is no way to really track where the Monero goes, because this is how Monero works in a fundamental level. If you don't understand it, it's okay. Monero, when you send the transaction, and we can even use our favorite draw.io to simplify this. Cancel. So say this is your Monero address, and this is the receiver. This is Alice. Wait, we'll just do, this is Bob, and this is Alice. And so Alice and Bob want to make a transaction. Alice will generate a one-time Monero address. Think of this triangle as the one-time Monero address. This one-time Monero address is used consistently. It might be used in 1,000 other wallets. So it's kind of nice that this happens, because this one-time public address that gets broadcasted goes to Bob. So you know Bob's public, like his, you know Bob's address that you want to accept Monero, and he can use a sub address, and then you send the Monero. Does the wallet have multi-sig like Electrum? I don't think so. I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to check on that. So Alice sends the Monero to you, Bob, and then the thing is, the sending address that goes onto the blockchain, just for pointer references, the sending address and the receiving address are all temporary. You don't, like, Bob doesn't know, like, the blockchain is unaware of the fact that you sent this. In contrast, you sent this, Bob received this. You sent it, Bob received it. Nobody knows. It kind of like say, imagine this as like an encrypting a machine that encrypts the entire output. So your output. So Alice knows your public address that people can send Monero to, but Alice sends this out, and it goes through this machine right here, and it makes a one-time address and one-time receiving address. Like, they don't, like, no one sees this. The blockchain sees it, but no one knows whose it is. This is where ring signatures kind of work. So they pretty much send out 16 decoys of this. Imagine this 16 times, and this is where FMCP++ is going to. This is FMCP++ is going to do this a billion times. According to Alice and Bob Wikipedia page, Frank is a generic sixth precedent. Damn you, Wikipedia. So Alice sends out the transaction with the one-time like pretty much private address, like no one cares about it. Puts it through this machine. This machine sends it to Bob. Bob receives it, and it's a one-time receiving address. Now, the ring signature part is it blasts 16 decoys onto the network, and you kind of don't know which one is who. And because you don't know which one is who, it's kind of later, Billy. It's kind of unique within its own network. The 16 decoy addresses make it very difficult to find out, well, which transaction was this? Like, who owned which transaction? And then again, we could continue reading we're going to continue reading the Monero papers in order to understand Monero more at a fundamental level. But the good thing about Monero is you don't really understand it. The public sending of addresses is what makes it, the one-time addresses make it inherently, they make it private. And then the so you could make some mistakes in a sense because of Monero's apparent, like, ironclad privacy. It's built into the protocol. It's built into the math. It's built into the currency itself. Unlike Bitcoin, that needs either third parties, all these extra layers of technology for it to make it work. Monero kind of just does it by default. And then you have bulletproofs. Bulletproofs, I believe, if I remember correctly, allow the signing and the transaction. YouTube says my debit card is declined. No, you're good, man. I appreciate you stopping by. The thing is, in contrast, Bitcoin requires all these third parties and extra steps to make it work, and then Monero kind of like does it just by default. So you always have to remember that Monero's ability. So bulletproofs kind of prove, like, hey, these transactions can't be double spent, or you're like, well, if this is all private, how can we avoid double spending? Or faking the currency? And again, we'd have to go back and reread the papers and etc., which we will. It's a very interesting read. FCMP ++ is going to be super huge. Oh snap! Feather could do multi-sig. Oh, okay, cool. It's based. So with Feather Wallet, you want to set it up and make it very simple and easy to understand. And preferably, you want to do this on Tails, because Tails makes this quite literally easy to use. It routes everything through Tor, and it's super easy and intuitive to work on. It's very portable. It's lightweight. I like it. No dark mode, unfortunately. So in order to get your funds here, you're like, well, you got to send. How would I send? How would I receive this Monero? Now, these are your addresses. These are all sub-addresses. These are one-time. You can create as many as you want. This helps with your privacy, because there will be little to no correlation in seeing where, like, oh, this is a reused address, in case there is a vulnerability or an issue, or like, you're not running your own node, which you should, because you can do this with also Feather Wallet. You can set up a node over Tor, connect this to that, this wallet to Tor, and then you're increasing your privacy, and you're increasing less issues with spy nodes, and less issues with people correlating your transaction history. Now, this is on Kali Linux, which is based on Debian. You can run this pretty much on anything. It's very awesome, very easy to understand. So when you look at it like that, you're like, well, where do I go? How do I buy this? Like, how do I obtain Monero? Well, you got to find a swap. and then you got to get some magic coins, is what I would say. And once you get that, then we can take we can go down the okay, how am I gonna purchase it? How am I gonna swap it, etc., etc. Now you have to. The first things you have to understand is there a test? No, I think there is, but it's not. There'd be no point in it. You know what I mean? I've never used it. I think I've come across test nets. There probably is. It's mainly probably for developers, but it definitely exists. So if you don't have Feather Wallet and you don't have the hardware to run your own node on like a dedicated server or anything, you can get the official Monero GUI wallet and actually set it up to run as a server on a server. Like, on your computer. You can do it on your computer as long as you have the space. You can actually run it on your computer. It's awesome. Now, I'm going to use something that I have used before. I've used FixFlow. They are not the best. They got some issues. But they do support, I think, the Onion site. So all you got to do is, I prefer Lightning because not because it's better or anything. I prefer Lightning because it's cheap. It's just cheaper to do. So you want to do a small amount. You're going to take your wallet, and you are going to put it in here. So we're gonna get some Malvad in this bitch. Just a small amount, nothing crazy. It's $12, and we can do less than that. Let's do $5. Nope, that's too much. And let's do 8. Let's do 9. $7.58. Because Malvad's really, really cheap. So we're going to paste, not that. We're going to copy our address. Oh gosh. Because I'm in a virtual machine. Oh, thank you, Coda. I really appreciate it. No, thank you. I appreciate you. You didn't have to. I really appreciate that. Damn, do I have to type this whole bitch out? Damn. I'm gonna have to type this whole bitch out. Okay, so 8. Damn, hell no, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it here. entirely in the virtual machine, I guess. Fuck that. I ain't doing it. BRB, keep going up. Motherfucker, I'm not typing this shit out. What am I saying? I got a browser in this bitch. What am I doing? We're gonna use FF. Oh yeah. No. FF.io. Alright. So we're going to go here. We're going to go to Monero. And we're going to pick just, again, a small amount. 3, 5. Nope. 1. Yeah. $8. Cool. So we're going to, you copy your address. You paste it. You do it at a fixed float. You do it at a fixed rate. You exchange pretty much now. And then I would refuse the email. This could be kind of dangerous if you lose access, you know what I mean? And then you have a set amount of time to send this. Now, Monero takes about 20 minutes for it to confirm on the blockchain. So you have to remember that. This could take 20 minutes for it. It will confirm generally immediately. It will see the transit. Once it sees the first transaction, it's like, okay, this you didn't get fucking scammed. Especially if you're using Lightning, because Lightning is so fast. Now, again, you got to make sure you have the funds. Lightning is cheap to send as well. Something to remind yourself. Like sometimes Bitcoin fees can be like fucking like Ethereum fees. It's crazy. And if you have the money, the liquidity, and the equipment to run your own Lightning node, 100% do it. Now you would quote after you get the confirmation. I got the confirmation. It's like I said, Lightning is pretty much instant. That's when you would. That's when you would go to your Feather wallet on your received, go to home, and the balance is here. It is not spendable though. You have to wait. So you have to wait until it is confirmed. Now the balance is 0. You got to wait about 20 minutes. Linux does have superior multitasking now. Why are you using Kali for that? It was just easier. It was the easiest option to say. It was the fastest because I was trying to do it on FreeBSD, but the better option would be Tails OS because it forces everything through Tor regardless. It's a little bit slower, obviously. It's just not. As much as of a Debian hater I am, it was quicker to set up. I would definitely not be doing it on Debian in real time. I would probably be doing it. I know Tails is based on fucking Debian, but I would 100% be doing it on Tails OS because I like it more. So that is something to keep in mind. So we're gonna wait till the Monero hits, and then we're gonna use it. We're gonna use it to get a Mulvad VPN. And even the cool thing about Feather Wallet is I'm using Tails with QEMCLI commands booting from the live ISO without virtual disk. Pretty handy in my opinion to come to Discord, etc. Yet the cool thing with Tails is you can actually get persistent storage and make it. You can get it persistent storage, completely run it from the USB and you can even neuter or remove or whatever you want to use you can remove your what do you call it? Your hard drive, so you know that nothing will be, assigned to your disk. So it's kind of the best option. Now there is a work in progress to make it have no or RetroSwap, which is the peer-to-peer exchange, to work in Tails, to prevent like a double Tor networking issue I think they run into. Let me see. Let me see if I can just do this. Now, here's the cool thing about Feather Wallet is it gives your history, tell you the confirmations you can send, receive. It's got a calculator, XMR to USD. Like, if you want to know how much one XMR costs right now, $402. But this is one of my favorite. So there's crowdfunding, bounties, and Revno. Yes, I'm out of USBs, haha. Got to buy some more. I really like this tool called Ventoy, Ventoy is cool. I love Ventoy. Ventoy is actually super based.
How many
Unfortunately, I discovered Ventoy via. I discovered Ventoy through a YouTuber that is no longer with us. Unfortunately, it's very sad. A very cool YouTuber too. I learned a lot from. So RIP. But here's some cool stuff. Like if you're a developer or you want to get involved with Monero, this is my favorite. This is one of my favorite features of the wallet. It shows bounties. I2P baked into the Monero GUI. Score 21 started. It tells you if it started, it's open, it started. If it's finished, it's pretty sick. So I can't wait till this gets fucking. This would be super sick, super awesome. And then RevNo, which is going to go over like Monero news and essentially tell people like how they how they're doing. And then the cool part is I do a lot of my reading here, and it can all be done in here, especially if you are a Tor user. So we're going to read some of this. So recent Monero news, Monero Fluorine. This is from November 3rd. This is like kind of like a monthly or something issue. Monero Fluorine Fermi points release binaries have released a CLI GUI. Remember to verify hashes. Guides how to bottom each block as well as make compile Monero from source. Dolphin File Manager is the best one. Yeah, it kind of. I mean, it is. I hate. What's the one that everyone also likes? There's one that I don't like that everyone likes. It's Thunderfoot or something, or whatever the fuck it's called. Thundercats. Dolphin Straight. There's another file manager I used. I wonder if there's a Rust-based version file manager. I haven't discovered that yet. Is there? Yeah, it's called Yazzie. There's Yazzie, a blazing fast terminal file manager written in Rust base with the full asynchronous I/O support. There's Jashuto. Hunter is another fast and lag-free terminal file manager. Let's see. Okay, that looks nice, and it's terminal based. I'll have to check that out. Oh, the Cosmic. Yeah, there is a Rust based on Cosmic Thunder. Oh, yeah, Thunder. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. I use it a lot, but it's that's kind of awesome though. I just didn't like Cosmic Desktop. I'm trying to be charitable as fuck because it's like new. I had two really bad icky moments with it. I was like, I don't like this, but I'm like, it's beta, so I'm trying to be Ventoy is good. Yeah, Ventoy is great. if you like to distro hop a lot, it's or just like go through like different Linux distros for no reason, like you need multiple instances, it is actually great. Here's a guy right here. Do you run full QEMU is a pain, but I think it's more secure. I think QEMU is more secure, I believe. Actually, I think Docker's, if I'm not mistaken, Docker is more secure. Actually, there's something even more secure that we can look at in a second. It's called gvisor. Gvisor is fucking crazy. It's cool. You can I think you can compile it now and make it work. So you can run now a full Monero node in Docker. Patriotic put up a guide how to do it. Remember that little Monero POS device we shared with you a couple issues ago? I have a nesting VMs is great. Once I figured out how to put Docker inside of LXC containers, I was gvisor. I'm having nesting VMs on QEMU, having trouble. Nesting VMs is cool, so I got to put Docker inside of I nested it inside of a LXC container, which is pretty cool. But if you're asking what gvisor is, you know of a good site that breaks what down? Nesting VMs or gvisor? Gvisor is crazy cool. We'll look at that in a second. But so in Proxmox, you can actually do a nested VM. I can even show you. It's very easy to set up. You just create a container, and you check nesting. So, like, if you've ever worked with LXC containers, it's pretty awesome. Very easy. So I pretty much set up a Minecraft server inside of a Docker container. Inside an LXC container, I used like a fraction of resources. It was so efficient. The networking was a fucking nightmare, though. I hated the networking part. I had to blast my head through it. And then going inside an LXC container, you pretty much need a turnkey Debian managed Ubuntu LXC container. You set up, then you go inside that, like you SSH into that, and then you set up Docker, and then you can run it as normal. It's pretty awesome. Monero made a POS device that in the repository you can actually introduce. You can actually you can do this. Monero point of sale app for merchants. Free and open source, device agnostic, works on any Android device, no special hardware, scalable, server can handle multiple POS clients and vendors, integrated backend, receipt printing, and trustless architecture. Free view-only wallet hosting pilot program. We're launching a free limited pilot hosting Monero view-only wallets. The first 50 accounts get 6 months of service, and then donations. It's very based. Check that out when you have time. The nesting VM. Yeah. I'll show you. Have No Dex mobile application by Mist hits version 1.1, goes mainnet. As usual, tests or feedbacks are more than welcome. You can actually set up Have No on your Android and do peer-to-peer, completely peer-to-peer. Where are we at with it? Is it synchronized? Is there a balance yet? Yeah, nested VMs is crazy cool. There's not a lot of use cases for it. It's just cool. It's kind of like running Kubernetes in your house. It's kind of an overkill thing to do, but it's very cool. Still unconfirmed. Yeah, we have time now. So it's called very easy. Do you run Proxmox? Does anyone here run Proxmox in their house? So if you do, it's very easy. So you pretty much LXC container, set up a no nested containerization. This approach falls for enhanced isolation, resource control, and security benefits, making it suitable for cases like microservices, architecture, blah, blah, blah. You do an LXC config, container security nesting true. Pretty awesome. You then SSH into there, essentially. Or we can look at it here. Whoever this is. Oh god, light mode. Would dark mode break my security? Apologies to everyone's eyeballs.
Send this to somebody.
Tumbleweed KDE is amazingly cool. Yeah, Tumbleweed's awesome. I actually like OpenSUSE. OpenSUSE. They make a project called Rancher. Rancher's really fucking cool. If you want to take over container hypervisation, like if you want to like take something, if you want to take your Kubernetes cluster, your Docker cluster, like your, let me rephrase it. If you want to take your Swarm or Docker cluster, or like all your Kubernetes machines and all your fucking containers, and you want to do it under one single painless glass panel, there's something called Rancher. Rancher is cool. It's a container management software, just like Portainer. It's very based. Super awesome, actually. So the problem in more detail. Normally when you run Docker containers, you shouldn't have any issues accessing proc, but above error listed tells us that it's double. It's rather a confusing message. Oh, welcome. The problem is Docker execute fails with the following. Docker error responds, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about this. What the hell? I thought this motherfucker was supposed to show me. Here we go. Just a normal person. Mastering the art of nested containerization takes one step closer to DevOps nirvana. It's pretty sick. So here is an example showing you the diagram how it can be nested inside a Docker. So you have the host OS, you have a LXC container. I think that's how you're supposed to say it. I think it's that or LXD, whatever. Docker daemon, Docker container 1 and 2, other processes, host processes. Remove any previous Docker installations. So add it all, install Docker, sudo docker run hello world, and that's successfully running hello within an LXC container. It's that simple. So let me pull my Proxmox cluster up here. So you have to use kind of, I think you have to turn off unprivileged container. I think it allows me to load it. I think SSHs. I forget which one I have to use. Debian turnkey core. So you have to use Debian turnkey core. Now, let's do just local on here. Let's say, 30 gigs. Say you just want something simple. Your cores to be like four cores. 4 cores is good. Let's do 302. 3 gigs of RAM. I turn off firewall and then just go do it myself. Static. I just do DHCP because I had trouble once with something. And then I start after creating. It's actually super easy. And the cool thing is it's fast. It's like super fast. It's actually like super, super fast. It's like kind of based. Where are you? Okay, now that's a... I said start after creation. Dumb bitch. Can't run. Don't tell me this bitch can't run. It might be something dumb too. Okay, there we go. So you gotta run it. It's you're logged in as root. Apply, enable. Skip. So I can do SSH 235 sh root all right. So this should have nested virtualization on here. We're going to clear that out. I think Monero will take over BTC. It's a better design and has tail emissions. I got into, like, I don't want to say an argument, but I got into a disagreement with someone that says tail emissions concerns them from an inflationary standpoint. But I think they need to I went down like a rabbit hole of like tail emissions, and I think people need to reevaluate what tail emissions are and what inflation is. Because it's not your normal inflation. And I think it's a better. I mean, Bitcoin has a fixed supply, so that fixed supply can get hoarded and sucked up by like the wealthy and like the super whales. I think Bitcoin has a place, but I mean, okay. So I'm inside an LXC container. Let's install Docker. This is going to show you the fucking. I think it will work. I believe I did. I was supposed to do unprivileged containers. So you just need to do. I've already updated. And I ain't gonna fucking copy all that. Oh yeah, sudo is not allowed in this environment. Remember that, because you're like already kind of root. That might be right. Damn it. Damn it. I'm so used to using sudo. Okay, it's all here. New. Gonna get that. And then you just got to give it permissions. chmod a+r etc in your apt keyring docker. There we go. So that's clean. Where the motherfucker is sudo. I can't use you. And you gotta update Debian because they a bitch. After you update Debian, you can kind of just install Docker right there. And I'm inside a container, which is crazy. It's like Rust, blazingly fast. All right, that's and then after you do that, you can actually check Docker PS. Oh, oops, spelled it. If I spelled it right, this is like print services. Nothing's running. So, say you want to run Portainer. You want to make a volume first. You're going to do Docker volume. Create. Data. And then you're just going to run this. No sudo. There we go. It's going to pull the image down. It's this simple. This is why like self-hosting is so cool. You get to run as much failed tasks, failed to create tasks, OCM runtime created failed, unable to start container or process early in phase. Oh no! So let's find something simpler to run, and maybe Portainer can't. There is linuxserver.io. Let's do images. The simplest thing to run. There's cops, there's DDC client, deluge, dog walk, duck DNS, fail to ban, FileZilla, hide 'em all, hedgehog, Kden Live, lazy librarian. Damn, just give me something easy. Nginx is kind of cool. But everyone does that. There's swag. Swag. On Google Chromium, Bukudi. God, there's a lot of things I run too, and I'm like trying to like FFmpeg based. I might have fucked up. Ooh. Oh, let's see. Ooh, Chasm work. Chasm's cool. Damn. Forgot about that. Wonder why Portainer wouldn't work. Containerize your Tor relay node. Wow, that's actually a thing. Okay. Will this run though? Will we get a W? Failed to okay, runtime create. Failed create. Unable to start container process. Error doing infiltrate. Interesting. Sup? What's going on, brother? Unprivileged port start file. Permission denied. I think it was unprivileged container that I need to also uncheck. That was my. I know there was something I was supposed to do, and I think that was it. I haven't done this in a minute because. So if you're gonna do it and this happens, whatever you did, if it was like checked, undo it. But it's possible because I've ran it before. It's not like this mystical thing. We'd be looking at Docker, brother. The problem with nested VMs solved using QEMU Manager with QEMU. I've done it without QEMU KVM 100%. I just think I was supposed to. I don't remember if I'm supposed to do privileged, unprivileged containers or privileged containers. I think I got to do. The mistake I made was I unchecked something that I was supposed to uncheck, not supposed to uncheck. But it's very, very easy to set up. So I'm getting a permission issue. So I think whatever I did was supposed to do before I was, not supposed to do. That's the point. Damn me. Okay, has my Monero wallet synced? I think it is. I think it did. It did. So after you purchase, we'll just close that out. Maybe I'll do some self-hosting setups. Live, which would be kind of cool, like stuff, like show like stuff that I'm currently running. I'm kind of running like a few things, but I have in about a week I'm gonna get I'm testing out a NAS that I think is cool. I think everyone that legally can and financially can should have their own NAS. That's like the first step in self-hosting and the first step in being sovereign with your data as much as possible. If you have also the finances, I would definitely say 100% get self-encrypting drives. That would be much better as well. Better as well. Sorry, I walked away for a second. But so now that you obtained your Monero in a whatever fashion that you choose, whether it be via Lightning, via swapping, via selling. You can sell things for Monero and obtain it, and take that Monero and go around and purchase stuff. So you first want to kind of figure out what do you want to use it with. One of the best options to have is, especially if you live in a state where it's illegal to have a VPN, you can start with Mulvad. Oh, they have a really cool video. I'm glad they're against chat control too. Now, VPNs aren't silver bullets. They're not going to protect you from government surveillance. They're not going to protect you from a lot of things. They have a realistic expectation that you need to understand. I think IVPN has like a good like understanding of what it is and what it isn't. So but it's, VPNs are kind of like in the transfer of trust. It's like I'm picking a VPN provider, and I'm using it as efficiently as possible to pretty much make it as private as possible. And that's what's good about, that's what's really good about a VPN is it does have a use case, and I think it does fundamentally do what it's supposed to do. So Mulvad is pretty realistic on what they can and cannot do. IVPN, same thing. So if you've never used a VPN, resist online surveillance. I think there is some merit to that. They have good features. Do you really need a VPN? This is my favorite section. I think more companies need to do this. Despite what VPN vendors advertise, VPNs are useless and at best ineffective at achieving anonymity, preventing Google or Facebook from collecting your private data. This is true. Fingerprinting is so good that it's really hard to actually obtain a good amount of privacy and anonymity, quote unquote, with a VPN. Preventing unwanted profiling by social networks. Again, fingerprinting is so good. There's other identifiers on you that allow you to, that expose you. Your canvas, like your canvas here, your screen resolution is an identifier. Your MAC address, your IP address, let me see. Let me grab this. Oops. The way you type, everything is a form of identifier. And because all these things identify you, you have now a digital footprint and you have a profile. So you have to be very careful on what you do and what you don't do, how you talk to people online, how you type, what's your time, the time zone you're in. All these things affect essentially and make you unique. Now, if Tor is blocked in your country and it's hard to use Tor, there's I2P. If I2P is blocked in your country and it's hard to use I2P, there's Freenet. If it's Freenet, you just can keep, you can just keep going down the rabbit hole. Of what is going to be the best for you. Tails offers strong anonymity and strong security from the fact that it's amnesic and it wipes everything. You can combine that with Buzzkill. Buzzkill, if somebody disconnects the Buzzkill from your device, you essentially just wipe everything from the device. Its purpose is there. Now we're going to talk about it in a second. We're going to get to what people have done in OPSEC failure. Eventually, I would like to do just an entire series on this, just going down rabbit holes of OPSEC failure on where we can learn to increase our OPSEC. It's never going to be perfect, but remember, advertisers can mess up a million times where you can only mess up once at the end of the day. So always remember that. But providing better security when working from home, this is, oh my God. Yeah, that's true. Hiding your mobile phone location, also true. Got to roll, guys. Need to study JavaScript. Awesome stream. Thanks, Code. Appreciate you stopping by. Appreciate everything. Good luck in your stream. Good luck in learning JavaScript. Fuck JavaScript, though. Appreciate you. You have a good night. Do not rely on VPN to protect you in any above the scenarios. Defending against cyber threats and identity theft, helping to avoid data breach or services you use online, hiding your mobile phone location GPS, protecting your passwords, providing better security when working from home, preventing unwanted profiling by social networks or search engines. Encrypting your data so your ISP or mobile network provider cannot monitor or log your online activity without a VPN. HTTPS still exposes the domain name, the IP address, or visiting episode. So this is where people get confused and don't understand. Your traffic is encrypted and it is secure. You're just trusting your provider, like your HTTP provider, your ISP, to not fucking sell your data. That's all they are doing. You're transferring the trust to the VPN. The VPN works maybe a little bit more ethical than your ISP, but the thing is that people bring up the monetary thing. Money doesn't always make something free, or they're not going to not double dip. So just remember that. Increase your security on untrusted public networks by preventing man-in-the-middle attacks. I don't know. I don't know if VPNs can prevent that. I could be wrong. Masking your IP address from websites and servers that connect to you. That is true, and it's a nice effect. It does have some... VPNs do have some malice in that. Circumventing censorship and geopolitical blocks. That's the best it can do. Encrypting your DNS requests so that your ISP or mobile network provider cannot monitor or log the domains you visit. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think they can do that. I think a VPN prevents that, but I'm not entirely sure. Using a VPN should be a part of the overall strategy to protect your privacy, but only if you trust the VPN provider more than your ISP. If you trust your ISP, then don't use a VPN. Your ISP might be based and cool and not do any of these things. So remember that. They might be based, cool, and doing none of this. So it's kind of what it is. But Mulvad, you essentially want to take this. You want to create a new account. You want to generate an account number. You want to confirm it, and you want to make sure you're on their onion domain. You want to generate an account number. You want to confirm that you've saved it. And then, I don't think it's going to show it anywhere. You have your options. After you obtain Monero, after you've gotten your cryptocurrencies, after pretty much everything, you can get your credit card, your PayPal, but you can save 10% by using Monero. You create a one-time payment address, 1 month, and then you send your Monero there, and then boom, it's done. It's that simple. Now, you might be asking, like, well, cool. You've told me everything. What should I do? You should participate actively in the circular economy by purchasing things with Monero. Now, there are other ways this can be purchased if you don't want to do it this way. You can go to something called privacy, I think, proxy. I think it's called Proxy Store. Refunds may need impersonal information. I think that's They're a little goofy for that. I have used this service multiple times. They're pretty awesome. IVPN, Mulvad, Proton, Safing Network, Mulvad. You can only get 6 months, 5 devices, 10% discount. Which is a pretty good deal. Or you can do IVPN. 1 month, 1 standard month, super easy. Awesome. So I highly recommend people check this out. There's SMS Pool. They have a lot of good digital goods. I've used them. They're very respectful. Very awesome service. I like them. I've had no issue with them. And you got to keep that in perspective. Now, for the beautiful people that have watched, I'm going to take this small amount of Monero, and I'm going to purchase one of these VPNs, either IVPN or Mulvad. I will create the account, and I will email it to them, signal it to them, simple exit to them, whatever. Obviously not save the... I'm not going to save like the... I would rather buy a voucher because then I don't have to create an account or anything for them. Just so that somebody can get this as privately as possible. I'm going to find a way to pick a random person. Don't know really how, but I'm going to find a person randomly to pick in order to send this to. I'll figure out, I'll do a post later in order to do it fairly. You don't have to, I think you have to be subscribed for all these, but you don't have to like or share or comment or do all these fucking lame things that boost the algorithm, which is just kind of gay. I want to spread the love. How do you make sure it's encrypted? How do you make sure what's encrypted? Just so that this $8 or whatever, $10 or $15 or $25 or $5 million Monero doesn't go to waste, I'm going to purchase one of these VPNs and send it to somebody. There's some programs out there that can help you kind of like pick a random comment. Maybe you have to do a comment. I think if it allows me to do it via just comments, then I'll do a post about it. So just people, if they gotten to the end, please, for the love of God, do a post. Because I'm going to figure it out and send it out. And then just to get back to the Monero community, and so this Monero doesn't go to waste, I will be purchasing one of the VPN providers via voucher, and I'll just send it to somebody. So they get a VPN out of it. Again, VPNs aren't bulletproof, but it shows you that Monero has value, and you can use it as much as possible, and it's super awesome, and I love it. Because I think people should have just access to buying stuff privately in the digital world. And I don't know, I haven't figured it out yet, but super cool. Very easy to buy Monero, very to use it, very inexpensive to use with other services, especially it has a store value. So something to think about the next time someone says that Monero has no value. Not only it's super easy to purchase, especially if you have access to purchasing Lightning, purchasing Bitcoin, just convert it to Monero. There's many swaps. There's tons of aggregators. There's peer-to-peer swaps. You just have a lot of options now in 2025 where there's not really an excuse to not obtain some beautiful Monero. And now that I've given you guys an hour and 23 minutes of my day, I will see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to argue in the comments about what your favorite Italian sub sauce is, and make sure to shovel dirt out of your backyard on December 5th, 2035.